What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video where we are continuing the build on this HelloReef 15-gallon tank. In the last couple of videos, we of course found the spot for the tank, set up the stand and the aquarium dry, and ran through the equipment that we're going to be using for this build. So today we are finally getting the tank wet. We're going to be filling it up with about 10 gallons of fresh water, and then we're going to add salt to it and get it all mixed up in the tank because we're only adding the sand in today. So we need to wash the sand, get 10 gallons of fresh RODI water, and mix up some salt in the tank and get it heated up. Because tomorrow we're going to be going out and getting about 15 pounds of live rock. We are going the live rock route because we're hoping that it's going to speed up the cycling process a bit by having some beneficial bacteria already on the rock. Truthfully, this is the first time that I've washed sand. It is dry sand, so we don't have to worry about killing any of the beneficial bacteria in that. But I normally just dump it in the tank. But with doing that, it cloudies up the water a bit and it takes a few water changes to really clear out the gunk from the sand. So we're just going to dump it into a bucket, rinse it until it gets somewhat clear, and then we're going to throw it in the tank. I have said it in the last videos that we are still curious as to what you guys want to see in this tank. We've posted a couple of videos about it on our other social media platforms. So if you want to check out our TikTok or Instagram, it's linked in our bio, or you can just type in Reef Bay app on those platforms. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing filled up. So we've got about 20 pounds of this dry aragonite. I've said it in the last video, but we use this because it's a nice mix between too fine and too grainy of a sand. It's like the perfect balance. So we're only going to be using about 15-ish pounds. So we'll do a full bag and about half of this. We'll kind of see what it looks like in the bucket and then go from there. So this is about 12, maybe 13 pounds. All right, we just washed the sand. It took us about 10 tries and it's pretty good. It's not the best, but you know, we started out with probably like chocolate milk water when we first rinsed it. And now it's like a grayish water. So it's gonna need some more filtering once it's in the tank, but it's definitely a good start so that, you know, we don't get all that gunk in the water. So let's go ahead and scoop some into the tank and see how it looks. Alrighty, so we got the sand in the tank. We didn't even use the full amount. I didn't want to get any water in the tank from when we were washing it out. So we still probably have about 1.5 pounds left of sand. So there's really only about, I'd say maybe 12 or 13 pounds in there, which is good. We've got a nice, you know, 3/4 inch in the front. It goes up to about 1.25 inches in the back. And we did kind of slope it, not really necessary, but I think once we start scaping it, we'll kind of move the sand around a little bit. But just having sand in this tank, I'm already super excited to see what this is going to look like. I'm still figuring out exactly what scape we should do in this tank, but considering it's a cube and we want as much real estate on the rock for coral as possible, I'm thinking just a centerpiece that goes up to, you know, about the top of the tank. So our next plan of action now is to fill the tank up. It should only take about 10, maybe 12 gallons of water, considering we're not filling it all the way to the top, and then the displacement of the sand. And then once we get rock tomorrow, we'll probably have to take out a couple gallons of water as well. But let's go ahead and fill it up. We do want it falling in the back chamber so we can get this tank circulating with salinity, heat, and of course clearing out any other debris left in the sand. So we are going to run some filter floss, not our filter sock yet because we don't want to gunk it up, but we're just going to throw some filter floss on the left side. And just like that, we've got the return pump turned on, circulating the water. We also have the heater plugged in, and we rerouted all of the wires inside of the cabinet with the power strip. So we are looking good there. We're going to hold off on turning on the power head. We don't want to stir up too much, but we're going to throw in some filter floss and get this thing cleared up. Filter floss is in there. It should probably clear up overnight. The last thing we need to do today is to start adding some salt into the mix and get the salinity up to 1.026, and then from there we should be good to get some live rock tomorrow and to get this thing scaped. For salt, we use Instant Ocean's reef crystals. We may switch to something else in the future just depending on how the parameters look, but for right now I think it's a decent salt and it's available to us. Normally we would just take our 5 gallons of fresh water, put it in a bucket, and then for the reef crystals we mix 1/2 cup of salt per gallon. So for about 5 gallons we do 2.5 cups. and then we'd put a pump and heater in the bucket to get it all mixed up. But since it's already in the tank, we have a pump and a heater inside of the aquarium. What we're going to do is mix the salt inside of the tank. Now, I do want to preface that if you have live rock, live sand, and of course fish, like if you already have an established tank, you don't want to mix your salt water within the tank. So if you're doing a water change on an already established reef tank, you would not want to take out 5 gallons, put in 5 gallons of fresh RO water, and then mix the salt from there. That's not good. So we're only doing this because we don't have anything actually alive in the tank. And since we don't, we're just going to go ahead and dump in approximately, we did 2.5 jugs. So what is that? It's about 12.5 gallons. So we'll have to do the calculations on the salt. We'll start on the lower side, of course, let it mix up for a few hours, come back, check it with our refractometer, and we'll just slowly keep adding salt until we get to that 1.026 range. Salt is added in now. We're just gonna let it mix up for the next couple of hours, and then we'll come back and test it. For you guys, it'll be a couple of seconds, but tomorrow we're gonna go pick up some rock, come back, and we're gonna scape up this tank, and hopefully it's clear. Alrighty, we are back on day 2. I'm in my dirty clothes because it's now time to scape the tank. We got about 12 pounds of live rock. This is also kind of like a pinker rock, so it's going to look like there's already coralline algae on it. I think it's going to look super sick in this tank. The scape style that we're going for is 2 arches kind of coming off the back, and we got an extra piece that if we want to bridge the top we can, or put it somewhere else. We also did pick up this epoxy, so it's the same color as the rock. It's like a reddish color, but hopefully we won't even see it. I don't even know if we need it. We're going to try to stack the rock where we don't have to use this, but if we do, this was 10 bucks, so kind of a safe bet. If our rock starts falling over, we're able to epoxy it together. So this is what the rock looks like. I'm going to take out each piece and kind of show it to you guys. A couple of them are bases and the other 2 are going to be arches going towards the back of the tank. This is our second piece. This should be part of the arch. Our third piece here, this is the second arch, which will make a little bit smaller of one. Our second base piece here, again, a little bit smaller. And finally, we have our kind of bridge piece, if you will. We might find another use for this, but really good looking rock. Alright, that was probably the fastest I've ever scaped a tank. I don't know if it's because this rock is super easy. We also matched it up at the fish store to see exactly kind of what it would look like, but I didn't think it would stack up this nicely. And in my opinion, I actually really like the scape going on. If we kind of come in here a little bit, as you can see, there's a nice little kind of valley in between, which I liked on the bottom, and then some nice space in between for some fish to go and hide. We have a nice arch up top to even place some SPS if we want to. And then we still have a nice sand bed down at the bottom to place some corals. And in these cube tanks, it's kind of hard to get a nice scape because of the height. And you don't have a lot of landscape from side to side. So I was really happy we're able to get kind of a taller scape. I like the single light above it. I think it looks really clean. And just the purple rock inside is real nice. So we're going to admire this before we have any algae outbreaks, but this tank is looking pretty good now that it's filled up with some rock and sand. Salinity is good. We did a test about an hour ago. We're right at 1.026. Temperature is stable, and now we have some live rock in there, as well as some biomedia in the back, which should start colonizing soon. We may add in some more beneficial bacteria, but I think this tank is going to cycle quickly, and we should be able to get some fish in here pretty quick. Alright, and that is the tank wiped down. Again, I'm really happy with how the aquascape turned out. It actually never goes to plan this easily. I would have liked a little bit more arches out of these top pieces, and from the side it doesn't look amazing, but I'm going to pat myself on the back. I think it looks pretty good. Kind of talking about cycling, we are going to make sure that our ammonia and our nitrite are 0 in the cycling process. What you would normally do if this was dry rock or you had no beneficial bacteria is to add in some source of ammonia and of course a bottle of beneficial bacteria to feed on the ammonia, and eventually that would build up a colony of beneficial bacteria that's going to live on the rock and the sand. And when you test it, it should take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to fully cycle, but you're going to want to see ammonia turn to 0. and then that'll turn to nitrite, which should eventually turn to 0, and then that'll turn to nitrate. So once you see ammonia and nitrite at 0 and some sign of nitrate at anywhere from 5 to 10 parts per million, you'll know that the cycle is complete and it is safe to introduce your first fish. We are planning on putting in our first pair of fish by around Black Friday, and we are planning on getting them from Reef Bay's marketplace. So if you guys want to check that out, be sure to download the Reef Bay app. We have it linked in the description. And if you guys just want to check out the app to create a profile, check out the feed, or you want to use Reef Bay's Deep Dive, which is the aquarium focused AI, then of course download the app as well. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below, or you can send us a message on Instagram. It is linked in our bio. Be sure to check out our other socials. But with all of that being said, we will catch you guys on the next one.